Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Brian's Horror Corner, and welcome to this horror Blu-ray movie review video as part of my current series where I'm taking a look at horror movies from my standard Blu-ray collection for review. So today we're going to jump into the world of exorcism slash possession and take a look at a movie from just a few years ago, actually, that I have in my standard Blu-ray collection, and that is The Possession of Hannah Grace from 2018 that I have on Blu-ray with digital code here. So yeah, The Possession of Hannah Grace, obviously a first time watch for me. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So, The Possession of Hannah Grace, also known in some countries as Cadaver, is a 2018 American supernatural horror thriller film directed by Diederik van Rugen and written by Brian Sieve. It stars Shay Mitchell, Kirby Johnson, Stana Katic, Gray Damon, and Nick Thune, and follows a former policewoman who encounters the supernatural while working in a morgue. So basically, the film opens during an exorcism ritual. The possessed Hannah Grace almost kills the priest by choking him while suspended in midair. Her father, Granger, then suffocates her to death using a pillow. As her father sobs over her dead body, a fly lands on her hand and it twitches ominously. 3 months later, Megan Reed, an ex cop with the Boston Police Department, struggles with depression and is addicted to pills after her patrol partner was shot dead by a criminal whom she failed to subdue. Megan's friend Lisa Roberts finds her a night shift job in the Boston Metro Hospital's morgue, located in an intimidating brutalist architectural building portrayed by Boston City Hall. During Megan's second shift, a man later identified as Granger, aggressively tries to convince her to let him into the building, but she denies him and informs the two security guards, Ernie Gaynor and Dave. However, shortly after, Megan helps EMT Randy to move the corpse of a brutally murdered young woman, later identified as the one Hannah Grace, into the building, and the man secretly enters. Randy tells Megan a man stabbed Hannah to death and was then caught in the act trying to burn her body in an alleyway. So yeah, that's the setup, the premise of the possession of Hannah Grace. As far as the cast goes, we have Shay Mitchell as Megan Reed, Stana Katic as Lisa Roberts, Gray Damon as Andrew Kurtz, Kirby Johnson as Hannah Grace, and Nick Thune as Randy. So yeah, that's the setup, the premise, and the cast for the 2018 possession movie, The Possession of Hannah Grace. Um, my thoughts on this movie. Not a huge fan of it, if I'm being honest. It's pretty run of the mill, and I think it's a big missed opportunity. So let's just go ahead and get into why with my review here. We'll start with the things I liked about the movie, the pros. It's certainly not the worst movie ever made. I'll say that there are some good things about it. I like the fact that it kind of goes against conventional possession exorcism movies, where the exorcism actually happens right away at the beginning of the movie, unsuccessfully resulting in this possessed character dying and the dead body being possessed. We haven't really seen that before. Usually a lot of the movies build up to an exorcism at the end, or they flash back to an exorcism through like a court drama or there's just a lot of different ways, but I've never seen this one before, and I thought that was pretty unique and interesting. It was different, so I give them credit for that. I enjoyed where the movie takes place in this morgue setting that really lends itself to potentially, and I use the word potentially as you'll see in my cons, potentially creepy and disturbing moments with cadavers, especially taking place at night. So I really like the setting of this movie. It does have good sound design and production, especially related to the possessed cadaver and the breaking of bones that happens um, from Hannah Grace, body contortion, the sounds that makes. Yeah, very good sound production. Pretty effective for what they were going for here, really. I like the look and the atmosphere of the movie with the darker lighting. I thought it worked pretty effectively given the setting and the premise of the fact that it's kind of a dark movie to start with. And obviously, being at night in a morgue, you would expect it to be dark. Then the movie's only 86 minutes long, so it's not even an hour and a half. It doesn't overstay its welcome or try to do too much or get too convoluted. It's a pretty simple premise, actually, and it's able to tell its story within an efficient runtime for that. And then my final pro is I'll say the acting's pretty good in this movie. You see a lot of horror movies, a lot of possession movies even where the acting's pretty subpar. But I have to say in this movie I didn't think it was. I mean, the main character played by Shay Mitchell, I thought she did a good job. I thought Kirby Johnson, who yeah, she's kind of a one-note character, obviously being possessed, but the fact that she could contort and stuff like that. I know some of it is CGI, and we'll get into that, but I thought those two really stood out, and this movie is doing a good job. Everyone else is serviceable. I mean, nobody's awful. They're fine. Nobody's going to win any Academy Awards for it either, though. So those are my pros for the possession of Hannah Grace. As far as the cons go, the biggest one is this movie's just an overall missed opportunity from a mystery and horror standpoint. They take a somewhat interesting and unique spin on the possession exorcism movie, but they don't really do anything with it that is effectively scary or effectively intriguing, to where you wonder at all what's going on or how it's going to play out. We pretty much know from what they show us at the beginning and the first half hour of the movie. I mean, it's pretty obvious how it's going to play out. You pretty much know what's going on, and I think that was just a big missed opportunity. I think they should have shot. I think they should have executed the movie differently. Probably starting by taking out the possession scene at the beginning, the attempt at a failed exorcism scene, because once that happens, we pretty much know that this possessed body is going to end up with the main character at some point, and we know exactly what's going on. If they wouldn't have had that scene, I mean, you would have just started with this gal taking the job at the morgue, and then this body of this young girl comes in, and weird shit starts happening. Now we got a little bit of a mystery going on. Not necessarily anything scary, but it makes us wonder a little bit more. You kind of see what I'm saying. There's a little bit more of a mystery there. But unfortunately, this movie didn't do that, so there's no mystery really at all because we know what's going on. As I said, showing the whole exorcism in the opening 10 minutes and how we get to the morgue was a mistake, and it removes all the mystery that could have been within the morgue with this cadaver, but everything is basically explained or given away right from the jump, is what I put in my notes. So basically, just what I was saying before. Well, there are a couple of creepy moments. This movie's not scary at all. I mean, even at the end, the last half hour, when you expect it to really ratchet up and be scary, I'm just kind of sitting there going, mm-hmm. And maybe that's me. Maybe I'm broken by all my horror experiences, but no, I know I'm not though, because I've watched other movies that have creeped the hell out of me just in the last few months, and this one just doesn't have that scary factor. It doesn't take it to that level. There's about 50 minutes as well that's just characters walking down hallways or talking, dialogue, and setting things up that ultimately are nothing or go nowhere. The whole sort of twist at the end with who this hooded guy is that tries to break in. I mean, if that isn't the most obvious and predictable thing in the whole movie, I don't know what is. When we get his whole exposition dump, and we already knew all of it because they showed us in the first 10 minutes of the movie. The movie also ended a little too abruptly, a little too easily for me. I didn't feel like there was any huge battle or confrontation between the main character and the possessed demon here. Basically, a few gunshots and into the fire we go, with a struggle here and there. But it just didn't. I don't know. The biggest thing I can say about this movie is it just doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything extra. There's nothing that really stands apart other than the fact that, like I talked about in my pros, that it kind of goes against convention when it comes to a possession or exorcist movie with having the exorcism at the beginning, have it being failed where the character that was possessed ends up dying as a result and then still is possessed. That was interesting and different. But other than that, they just don't do what they could have with that. And then my final con is most of the characters are pretty throwaway. So yeah, I mean the characters are pretty much throwaway. They're here for the kills, for the most part, like cannon fodder. Other than the main character, of course, but like everybody that she encounters or talks to, nothing's flushed out about him. We don't really care anything about him. And I could even make an argument that even the main character of Megan Reed, played by Shay Mitchell, even though I think she does a decent job, even that character's. I mean, all we know is she's an ex-cop that paused and caused the death in her mind anyway of her partner, and I don't know. I don't even feel like she's necessarily quite as fleshed out or likable as she could be. So yeah, this movie's got a lot of problems. It's not like I said, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's not. I just don't know when I'll go back and watch this movie. To be honest with you, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 for the possession of Hannah Grace from 2018. It's just yeah, I just don't necessarily know if I see myself grabbing this off the shelf and saying, "Yes, I'm in the mood for the possession of Hannah Grace tonight." Because if I want to watch an exorcism movie, I'll watch The Exorcist, obviously, or even The Exorcism of Emily Rose, or one of the other ones that are better, quite frankly. And those are just the ones that I've seen. So that's where this movie really comes up short. And so, while there's some good technical things here, some pretty good acting, and an interesting idea, the failed execution of that idea and just having it be, it's only an 86-minute movie, but I was still bored at parts with all the talking and the dialogue between characters. It doesn't really do anything for the movie, as well as things that are set up and characters walking down hallways. It feels like uh, they tried, but they really dropped the ball on what this movie could have been. That's my final say on it. So 6 out of 10 for the possession of Hannah Grace. Go ahead and comment down below if you guys have seen this movie, what you think of it. Am I being too hard on it? Do you like it more than I do, less than I do? Why not? Comment down below. Please like this video. Please like this video and hit the little notification bell down below so you don't miss any of my upcoming review videos for this series. And please be sure to subscribe to my channel as well so you don't miss any of my great horror content, not only the rest of this series, but what I have coming out the rest of this year and into next year. So, thank you for watching. I hope everybody's doing well, and I hope you're enjoying this horror Blu-ray series. We've got 3 movies left to go, but hope you're enjoying it. Thanks for watching. Bye.